Today we have a really special video because this is something that we have been talking about doing something like this for a while. This is actually the main reason we decided to start a YouTube channel in the first place, was to make a video like this one. This video is going to feel a little bit different than the past ones that we've done. Really what me and Justin love about movies is the analysis. That thing that makes you really think about a movie, what makes a movie tick, what makes it good, what makes it not good. You can look at a movie and really learn a valuable lesson from that movie, from what the character learns and from the different events that take place over the course of the movie.
And oftentimes these lessons come in the form of a character arc. And you may have heard that word before. Essentially all it is that a character starts the movie at point A and ends at point B. And they're different because of the experiences they've had.
For example, one of my favorite character arcs from movies is you take a look at Luke Skywalker from the beginning of A New Hope, right? He's just this kid on a farm, he hangs out with his family, he drinks blue milk. By the end of the movie, he's using the Force, you know what I mean? He's flying with the rebellion, and we have all these different changes that have taken place over the course of that movie. And you can take a look at those events and the lessons that he learns, and you can apply that, in your own life. So that's kind of the idea behind these videos. Today we're gonna be looking at one of our favorite movies. I love it, the soundtrack is fantastic, and I also have a giant crush on the main character.
Let's be honest, it's Moana. In order to really understand Moana's character, we're also going to compare her to a prophet you may have heard of in the Old Testament. Maybe you were crazy for comparing these two, but we really see a lot of comparisons and some similarities, and we want to tackle that today.
So, without further ado,
lessons to learn. Our overarching theme as we look at these two stories is going to be that setbacks lead to success. We'll see it in both stories and we'll keep coming back to it.
So our movie starts with Moana as a baby, and right off the bat you see that she has this very special relationship with the ocean. Not only that, but you see that the ocean is really personified in this movie. The ocean has power. It's omnipotent. You see it, there's a lot of different cases in the movie where she's saved by the water. The water guides her toward success or to wherever she needs to be. She's constantly singing about how the ocean is calling her and she feels like she needs to go out and explore, and she has this great desire to go beyond the island and see what's out there.
In the parallel story, Moses is called from God to deliver the Jewish people. Moses is spoken to by God in a burning bush. Moana is realizing that the plants in the island are dying, and she knows that her only way to deliver her people is to voyage outside of the typical range that they would as fishermen and sail beyond that.
So Moses' people were imprisoned by the Pharaoh. Moana's people are imprisoned in a sense that they can't leave the island, and the vegetation starts to die on the island. So it feels like on both of these people there's like a ticking clock over their head where something needs to happen. They need to be delivered.
With Moana and Moses both realizing what their purpose is, now it's time for them to begin their journey. And here's where we'll see a lot of the setbacks that come to both Moana and Moses as they are moving forward.
So we see that both of these characters have this call. They have this purpose in their lives. Each and every one of us in our life, we do have our own purpose and we have our own calling. Everybody's born with different talents and different abilities, and we all have this great potential like they did in this story. But life isn't always perfect. It's not always flowers and rainbows. We are going to run into problems and different setbacks.
One of Moana and Moses' setbacks is that they don't feel adequate. They don't feel like they're qualified to do what they need to. Moana ends up trying to sail and crashes and feels that it's dangerous and that she doesn't feel like she knows confident enough to know what she's doing.
So she probably has this moment of, if I'm being called to do this thing, then why is it so hard? Why did I almost just die trying to accomplish this thing that I feel like is my purpose?
Moses has a trial and a setback in that he's performing these miracles in order to try to convince the Pharaoh that what he's doing and delivering his people is right. And the whole time, the Pharaoh's magicians are replicating that. Albeit they may not be actual miracles, but at least putting doubt in the Pharaoh's mind, causing further problems for Moses moving along his journey to deliver his people. And Moses is confused, as anyone would be. He feels that this calling is inspired and it's something that he wants to accomplish, but at the same time he feels that it may not be possible because he just went and tried and it became worse in the long run for his people. So how does this help them and, as we mentioned before, lead to their success? Moana along the way has gained a confidence in herself that culminates in her jumping into the ocean and diving for the heart at Te Fiti.
As opposed to the water just giving it back to her. Because this is where you see the real growth in her character, where she really has learned a lesson, and that we're looking at a different Moana at the end of the movie than we were at the beginning.
Every single scene up to this point in the movie has shown that the ocean gives the heart of Te Fiti to Moana. It gives her this mission. But when she fully embraces that personally, that's when you realize that she has the confidence moving forward. Moses ultimately has performed several miracles, and the Pharaoh allows for him to take his people. And his story of confidence and growth is similar to Moana's in that at first he was confused, he didn't know if he could do it, and towards the end of his story he feels that he can be the leader that the Jewish people need in deliverance. And as everyone knows, the story of Moses culminates with him parting the Red Sea, and the story of Moana culminates in her parting the ocean and giving the heart of Te Fiti back to its original owner and ultimately delivering her people, realizing that she can be a voyager and also restoring peace to the island.
So when you watch Moana, there's probably a couple of moments where you might sit there and think, if the water is so powerful, then why is she even in this danger? You feel like in almost any given situation, the water would be able to solve Moana's problems and get her where she needed to be like that. But like I mentioned, these different setbacks and trials are what help Moana learn these lessons and help her progress as a person, getting her to that point where she can lead and deliver her people.
So as we mentioned previously, these setbacks of not feeling like she's able to sail, Moses not being able to speak properly, they were the things that ultimately led to their confidence. When every time you fail and you feel like it can be done, oftentimes those are the experiences that make you realize that it's possible and that teach you something that is key to your success moving forward.
And as we've been looking at these two different stories of Moana and of Moses, like we've mentioned, God plays a big part in Moses' story, and the water in Moana's story is kind of similar to a godlike figure. And I think even if you're not a very religious person, you can still understand and apply this idea that everybody has this potential to be something great. And the different setbacks and everything that are thrown at us over the course of our lives, we can use those for our own benefit. We can use them as growing experiences to make us better people and help us achieve that potential that we all have to be something great and to do something awesome.
So with whatever setbacks you're facing in life right now, we hope that you take it with an attitude like Moses and Moana. Maybe these setbacks are only temporary, and as they pass, you'll realize that you're better because of them. And we hope that you see success in whatever you're doing. Also, freaking just look at their names. Moana is basically Moses, but with 2 other letters.
So that was it for this new experimental format that we were going for. Let us know what you thought.
Yeah, so we really love making it. We love hearing your feedback as well.
In case you haven't already, feel free to subscribe. I mean, the channel is growing very quickly. You want to, invest now. This is the time. The investment of the century.
Hit that bell for notifications. New videos every single Monday.
Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.
I am Moana!